right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from break. Today we are going to continue looking at rotations. So before break we talked about when our degrees, or our degree of rotation, is a positive number. When it's a positive number, greater than 0, we rotate counterclockwise. Counterclockwise. Similarly, when we have a negative degree of rotation, so here we've got negative 30 instead of 30, we've got a negative number, we rotate clockwise. Easy peasy. Great. Now that we remember the basics, before break, we got a chance to try number 5. If you didn't get a chance to finish number 5, pause the video and try that now. Great. So at least on our patty paper, we should have this. All I did, put my patty paper over my paper and traced it, just like so. Now, this is asking me to rotate the figure 30 degrees, about my center O. So this point right there. If we remember, 30 degrees, that's positive. So I'm going to be rotating, yes, that's right, counterclockwise. So go ahead, line your patty paper up, like so, rotate it roughly 30 degrees, counterclockwise, making sure that O does not move. So our center of rotation, which is O here, doesn't move. So maybe put your point, or put your pencil on point O, like this. So when I rotate my image, or my patty paper, point O doesn't move. Great. That's about 30 degrees right there. So we will push quite hard on these 2 points, or you could poke holes in your patty paper, whichever you prefer. I like to just press hard. And when we get it back onto our paper, should look like this. Okay, moving on to number 6. Now we've got more stuff going on here. Number 6 says, let L be a line. So we've got our line here. AB, our vector AB, be a ray. Segment CD, and angle EFG, be an angle as shown. Let there be a rotation d degrees around point O. So here's our point O, our center of rotation. Find the images of all figures when d is greater than or equal to 0. So what I want you to do right now, think in your head of a number that's greater than 0. Did you think of 45? I knew it. That is a positive number. That's a positive number. Anything greater than 0, that's a positive number. And because it's positive, it's greater than 0, we're going to turn counterclockwise. So again, good habit to get into, writing down which way we're going to be rotating. So counterclockwise. Okay. Again, similar to what we did on the last page, you'll take your patty paper, you will cover the whole image here, the whole picture. So we've got our ray, we've got our line, we've got our point, our segment, and our angle. You're going to go ahead and trace all of that. Go ahead and pause the video and do that. So now our patty paper, if we slide it over here, looks exactly the same as what we have here. Same. Now, again, we'll line up our center. We're rotating around point O. So we'll line up point O on my patty paper with point O on my real paper. Put my pencil on that point, line everything up, and then I'm going to rotate some number of degrees counterclockwise. Doesn't matter as long as I rotate counterclockwise. So I rotate counterclockwise, and that's fine. Okay, like so. And again, O lining up with point O, that didn't move. Go ahead, pause the video, and retrace all of that. So whether that be poking holes, connecting the lines, or just tracing very hard to get that onto your paper. Good. So after we trace, we come back to our paper, and it should look something like this, depending on how much you rotated your patty paper. Okay, moving on to number 7. Let AB be a segment of length 4 units, and angle CDE be an angle of size 45 degrees, right here. Let there be a rotation by d degrees, where d is less than 0, about point O. So still center rotation at O, less than 0. So this is going to be a negative number, and thus we're going to rotate clockwise now. Important to write this down while we're thinking about this, so that when we trace it, we're not tracing in the wrong place or rotating the wrong direction. So find the images of the given figures, answer the questions that follow. So again, here we go with our patty paper. We're going to trace everything. So go ahead. And I like to put my points, label my points even on my patty paper. Okay, so now I've got it all traced. I'm rotating clockwise. So I like to imagine a clock. There's 12 somewhere up there. There's 3, 6, 9. So I'll go clockwise. Yeah, that looks good right there. Okay. So again, coming from here, putting my pencil on O, rotating some number of degrees clockwise. So if we stop right there and we retrace, I'm not a big fan of poking holes in my patty paper, but feel free to do so. So this is where you can pause the video and do this yourself. So your final image should look something like this. Again, remembering when I rotate, translate, any sort of transformation, A moves into A prime, likewise B to B prime, D to D prime, E to E prime, C to C prime. Okay? Don't forget the primes. A here, asking us what is the length of the rotated segment of the rotation AB. So I've got my segment AB. After I rotated it, I've got the segment A prime, B prime. How long is that? Well, AB was 4 units. Because rotations are rigid motions, A prime, B prime is also going to be 4 units. And then similarly, what is the degree of the rotated angle, rotation of angle CDE? So here was CDE, angle CDE right here, which was 45. When I rotate that angle, I get angle E prime, D prime, C prime, or C prime, D prime, E prime. So I still get this angle. And that angle, because it's a rigid motion again, is still 45 degrees. And both of these, since rotations are rigid motions. Make sure we write this, since rotations are rigid motions. Moving on to number 8. It says, let L1 and L2, so these two lines, line 1, line 2, be parallel lines, meaning they're never going to intersect. Let there be a rotation by d degrees, where d is between negative 360 and 360 degrees, about point O. Is L1 prime parallel, this right here, you might want to make a note of that. That symbol right there means parallel. Parallel. Is line 1 parallel, line 1 prime parallel to line 2 prime? Well, anywhere between 360 means I can go clockwise, I can rotate counterclockwise. And if you're not quite sure about this, if you can't picture this in your head, go ahead with a piece of patty paper, do that, trace these two lines, and point O, rotate it, see what you come up with. Pause the video. And so what did you come up with? Is L1 prime parallel to L2 prime? The answer is yes. Yes, it is. Moving on to number 9. Let L be a line and O be the center of rotation. Let there be a rotation by d degrees where d is not equal to 180 degrees, about point O. Are the lines L and L prime parallel? Again, you might want to trace this and rotate about point O to see if I can rotate any number of degrees other than 180 degrees to get L prime parallel to L. And what you should find is no. There are no other lines rotated about point O, any number of degrees other than 180, that will be parallel to line L.